Hello, Peter. Nice to meet you again. How is life?
Oh, hi, Amin. I'm happy to see you again.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you again. Yeah, 1 week without you is like,
It's like a cake without whipped cream.
yeah, you like whipping. Yeah. You like to whip it until the no, okay.
What's going on in Malta?
Now it cooled down. Now finally the stormy rainy season started. So now we have a lot of clouds and every evening a little rain and stuff. So now the heat wave is gone. But this is here in Malta, you don't have 4 seasons. You're from summer, it goes directly in winter. So you don't have autumn. So it's then directly.
Because the tourists don't pay enough for 4 seasons. They just pay for 2.
Yeah, but surprisingly, we have a lot of tourists here. Holy crap, I didn't expect that. All very proud.
Nice ones. Nice ones.
I don't look at these things.
So, I see. Yes, you're shading your eyes with.
No, I have this internally. I have small blinds and they go down. Exactly.
I see.
How is life in Austria? What happened this week? No, last week, I mean.
Nothing very important as far as I know. It's just the usual craze and shit. What's going on? And yes, they talk about 1G. 1G means just vaccinated people.
Yeah, of course.
But what makes me happy is they never can do this because it's a real vaccination pressure because and so on. But
look at Israel. It's even worse. There you have your 2 shots, and now they tell you need to have the booster shot. That if you don't get the booster shot, your normal vaccine pass is not valid anymore. So you got your 2 shots, and when you don't get your booster, you don't have a vaccine pass. Hey.
And the booster shot is not recommended by the officials. That's the other thing.
Yeah, but every politician and everyone here, everybody is talking about the booster now.
Mengel Lauterbach and
all of these types,
and Fassi Drosten and
even here in Malta the same.
And what we talked about it before, what's really nice, the new development in Germany, and it's also true in Austria. Now it's as far that real journalists like Markus Lanz, which has this Lanz television show, talk show, and other really studied and clever journalists get criticized by comics, by kinds of
comedians,
as comedians by Böhmermann. You know, he's a stupid clown who is paid by the German government. I know where he's. I don't know. He's at ZDF or ARD. I don't know. He has his own show, and he tells now the established journalists what to do. A comedian is now the etiquette, moral level of how a talk show should be done.
Yeah, makes you think, but it makes me only laugh because you always think it can't get any more hilarious. And then the next day you read something and think, oh yes, they managed again to even top this.
You get it right, because in a special way, I feel with Böhmermann, because the reality is so much like a comedy, like a crazy shit satire, so that comedians can't do any joke, because you would never know if it's true or if it's a joke, because the truth is a bigger joke than any comedian can do.
I read today somewhere in the news that somebody recommended now that the vaccinated people shall get an infection with COVID, otherwise they can't build antibodies.
Drosten said it.
Drosten,
Christian Drosten said he hopes to get infected. He has 2 vaccinations, and the best would be if he would now get infected, because then he would have the biggest protection.
But then he builds normal antibodies, so why does he need then a vaccination in the first place? But hey,
I don't know.
I just told you before that over the whole pandemic time, in my whole circle of friends I have, I did not know one personally who was heavily affected or died from or with COVID.
Yeah.
But last week at the residence where we have the multi-archery range, one the receptionist, she got her second shot, afterwards instantly to the ICU, and she never left it. Her whole muscles stopped working. And they called even then AstraZeneca and said, listen here, this is happening. Oh yeah, we need to do some research. We don't know. Nothing. And she simply died. Her whole stopped working. Not because of COVID, because of the vaccination. Yeah, she died. And this is the first one I know now person, which I know personally. So I never had one.
I understand your point. You know no person who died from COVID, but you know one person who died from the vaccination.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's.
And I leave it simply uncommented. I simply tell facts because we are fact checkers here. Better than the fact checkers. We check the fact checkers. Fact checks until the fact checkers can go fuck themselves.
Check the fats.
You know what the fat don't check.
Fat checkers. So if you eat a lot of hamburgers,
I thought about the Federal Reserve. This private crime organization.
Fat checkers.
Yeah, fat checkers. Don't they call them Weight Watchers? No, it's okay, fine.
Fat checkers. But it's nice because today I tried to find a new serial on Amazon. I'm in Amazon Prime. I have this Amazon Video, or I don't know how it's called. And I watched for the 4th time a serial I really recommend to any viewer, and also to you, Armin, if you have Amazon Prime. And the name of the series is Hornblower. It was a kind of novel for the youth back then in the 60s or so. It's about a young captain in the Victorian Navy and so on. Very nice serial, and I love it because the good wins. It's not. It's all about war, but if you are a human person, if you're a good person, you win. And that's the story of this whole Hornblower. Even if it is it's really nice. I would really recommend it. So I watched it the 4th time because I don't know what to watch. And then I saw they have a new serial. It's a Cinderella, like Dornröschen. And how are they called? The fairy?
Fairies, yeah.
Yes, the fairy is a gay, transvestite, colored, fat boy. Man.
Nice.
With a lot of, glitter and stuff. It's so horrible.
Television of today, yes, of course.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's kind of feminist. And
this is as example one of these I mentioned before, one of these distraction strategies. Give them something to play. Okay, let them play with gender, let them play with race.
No, that's your conspiracy. I don't believe in that.
Okay, I do. They throw all this out on every media.
If these are all parts of the how is it called? Not puzzle. How is a puzzle called in English?
Puzzle?
No. A puzzle is a puzzle. Is a rätsel.
Okay.
scrimsaw. It's part of the scrimsaw. It's all connecting together in some way, but it's not a big plan. That's our different kind of.
But you know, once you finish the scrimsaw, you see the big plan. We only don't see it because we see only small parts.
The big plan exists. The big plan exists, and in my opinion, the big plan exists since the French Revolution.
Yeah, of course.
Because these were kind of Freemasons.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against Freemasons, because also Freemasons made the American Constitution, which is the best constitution around the world.
They made nice buildings, so
yes, no question about that.
Yeah.
And some say there were also some Illuminates with the French Revolution, and the French Revolution was the first communist movement, because they killed all the aristocrats, all the marquises and the earls and the kings and the, and maybe, I don't know if it was right or wrong, but these were the first communists. And they said, you farmer boy, you're more important or even important, like the earl or something. And that's okay. But since these days, and the next step was the Frankfurt School in the 1920s in Germany. This were, Adorno and all these guys, and Erich Fromm, and so on. And there were a lot more, Horkheimer. And they fled to the United States, to the University of Stanford, to famous American universities. And they founded the idea of identity politics, of genderism, of all this stuff we fight today. And opposite to the real communists in Russia, they were making a revolution and killing all the aristocrats in Russia, Lenin and these guys. They said, no, we don't have a violent revolution. We don't kill someone. We make it the silent way. And it's the name of this strategy is the walk through the institutions. So if we get into school, if we get into universities, if we get into artists, and so, and if you're in university, you're into artists and so on. And that's what we have today. That's what we have. And they won. And these are the transhumanists, the eugenics, Hitler and Stalin and that Mao, they were real eugenics. They said, okay, we have to kill the sick and then we have a healthy race. But they don't say they are for abortion, and yes, if someone's not likely to get vaccinated, maybe you have to put him in a camp like in Australia or in New Zealand. So they are very, very soft, but they make their pressure, and soft pressure is more dangerous than an attack. If you got an attack in your face, to your body, you will defend you.
It's a spoiling frog principle. You put the frog in the cold water and heat the water slowly up. And the frog doesn't realize it until it's boiling.
Or like, how was the last big boss of the EU? What's his name of the EU?
No? We can't know.
Before your German blondie.
I don't know.
Before Ursula. I don't know, but he said, I don't remember, I'm stupid. But he said, yes, we try something, and if nobody says something about it, we do it.
Yeah, of course.
If nobody's angered, we do it. We say from how is the English name from tractors? It's not tractor, tractor?
Tractor.
No, it's not the real name in English, but
Yeah, farming machine, but we know.
anyway, tracker, or I don't know. We make a formula how a tracker seed has to be from the EU, or a banana, or a cucumber, and so on. And so if nobody says, "Oh, that's wrong," or "That's shit," we do it.
Yeah.
And that's the slow way we do that. Okay. Oh, I'm ranting. I'm sorry.
No, really? No, I didn't hear that one. No, but you had actually really problems this week with your Facebook account.
Yeah. My account was hacked, and I had close to 5,000 friends from all around the world. And the funny thing is, I worked on that English translation of my book, and just, I think 2 days or 1 day, I don't know, before I was finished, this account was hacked. So I couldn't inform my friends the book is ready and so on.
On the other side, when there are 5,000 friends and they don't miss you and they don't look out for you and get in contact with you, the quality of the friends. And second, maybe it happened especially for this reason that you think about a different marketing strategy this time.
You are 1,000% right, because
that is only 100%, yeah.
Because because there were lots of friends I had before. I didn't remember. I didn't know because 5,000 is a lot. But after I set a new account, they contacted me.
Yeah. That's why even when you watch it now and you miss Peter's Facebook page, check out Peter. You will find his new account. Send him a friend request. Show him
former friend.
I like some photos he posts.
I had some friends. They thought I blocked them because they couldn't find my profile again.
Yeah, it can happen.
So that's not true. Not true. My account was hacked, and anyone should feel free to contact me and to be friend again.
Exactly. And then think about if you have someone, we need now a marketing professional for his book. The part 1 is now out in English language, which is really interesting. You can show it. I read part 1 and part 2 already. I need to do a review of part 2, which is way better than part 1, but part 1 is already way worth and buying. It's really, and now it's out in English. So guys, really go for it. It's a really interesting and very well written book. I didn't expect it to be that good because I knew Peter and I thought,
Oh, fuck you.
But no, it's really good. I was impressed.
This is a German edition, and you see,
it looks similar, huh? This is
very similar, but there's this red band with the English edition sign on. So the English edition is available as ebook and also as printed book, as soft cover. Yeah, and at the moment I'm working on the translation of the second one, which Armin likes more because
I wait now for the third part in German. How far are we there?
I'm just one person.
Oh, hey, but all your split personalities, give them all a computer and you're done in 1 hour.
You're right.
Excuses, no? No,
you're right.
But it's a bad thing when your account is hacked and you don't even know why and what. And you said it's some IP address or somewhere in Quebec, in Canada, hacked it. So it's not even that you would say it's someone who doesn't like you in Austria or something and want to simply.
No, it was no personal thing or so. It was just
simply some hacker organization.
Not the former girlfriend who hates me.
Which doesn't exist in your case, of course.
Yeah, because I made
because you're such a nice guy, they love you still over.
I made them happy.
Of course,
Still love
of course. Now it's bad, but now he has a new Facebook account, so you can check it out. And please check out on his Facebook account. He promotes the book, but you can find it on Amazon too. check it out. It's now out in English language, so for everyone, go for it.
Thank you, Armin.
I don't get any commission, don't worry. So, well, we never spoke about it. It's fine. It's fine. See,
Yeah.
you start smoking, and here it smells like cigarette smoke. But it's I have my balcony door is open. It must be one of the neighbors is smoking.
Mine is open too.
Yeah. We have just an amazing sunset again, and I sit here, and don't take photos, but it's okay.
And it's for free,
Yeah, of course.
Sunset always is for
I
free.
see it. From here, when I look outside, I see a little bit of the sea. Then I see the small part of Malta, which is the small island St. Paul's, where St. Paul shipwrecked.
Bikini girls.
No. This is good. I don't see. It's a bit further away. And behind it, I see Gozo, the island.
Put on your glasses. Maybe you can.
No, you need a zoom because it's already dark outside. Peter.
Oh, yeah.
What shall we talk? We should talk about something archery related, huh?
Yeah.
Let's talk about, because I think you are one of the people who know a lot about it, and I know almost nothing, but always people ask me about 3D parkours and 3D shooting. I was only once when I gave a course in Germany. The first day we learned thumb release, and the second day we went out on a very small parkour there, and we shot with thumb release that we practice what we learned. But it was the first time I shot a 3D parkour, so I am really not experienced. And from the questions I get, some people simply don't know what means 3D.
Okay.
And you're the pro, so.
Okay. Yes, when we founded our archery society in my state, we were strictly on 3D because it was quite new. Back then, in the early 90s, 1991 and 92, there were kind of no 3D targets around in Austria or in Germany, because in the beginning they were strictly made and sold in limited, not in big numbers, for American bow hunters. They like to train. They were in the tree stand with their compound bow, and they shoot down because they loved a 3D target somewhere, just the chest cavity section with the vitals shown, so you see if you can hit the heart because in the middle of the body and so on. And then Mackenzie was our first address. They made a white-tailed deer and later, I don't know, a wild boar and a bear and I don't know. So when we started doing this, we made from cardboard, we glued cardboard together, and then we put on that animal target, a wild boar or a deer or anything, a turkey or a bear. And these were 2D tournaments because it was two-dimensional. It was a target with an animal picture on it, and you shot at the animal. Yes, but it was not like that because it's different. If you have a plain target and the arrow impacts like that, it's different than if you have a 3D. These were, would you call it, foamed rubber targets. And why this 3D shooting became so popular? Because back then, when you had to glue these cardboards together, and you had to have a wooden posts to
mount it,
drive into the ground, and with wire, and
a lot of hassle,
a lot of work, a lot of shit to do. And if it rained, what we did? We made these cardboard targets with a wild boar or something on it, and then we took a silicone pistol and with a, I don't know how it is called, with a kind of card. We sealed that completely with silicone and so. And then when this business grew, and there were in Austria, I don't know, there were maybe 10 archery societies, archery clubs,
Mhm.
and they made 3D tournaments,
Mhm.
and they still had some cardboard and some 3D mixed
Mhm.
up,
Mhm.
and all the money we got, we invested in 3D
Yeah.
Mackenzie targets.
Mhm.
And Mackenzie also made always new targets. So I need that antelope, I need that
Mhm. Mhm.
elk, or I don't
Mhm.
know, or a fox, or a
Mhm.
lynx, or
Mhm. And
so
and the basic thing is, but they don't stand now in a shooting line. They are somewhere placed, somewhere in a wood,
yeah.
in a forest, and you have a
The
walkway,
idea,
and you walk there, and
yeah,
you have then a given distance where you have
yeah,
to shoot
yeah.
them.
So a 3D tournament is, let's say, 100 archers gather at a place, and they all report to an office,
Mhm.
and the office is giving away these scorecards.
Mhm.
Before they do it, they mix the groups. So
Mhm.
if there are 6 archers or 8 archers from one archery club, for usually they were mixed up with another archery club, so
Mhm.
not one archery club was one
Yeah.
group, so they
Yeah.
could do any fraud or fake
Yeah.
or so. So, and then you said, okay, at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at midday, the shooting begins. When we started our tournament, I had a
Mhm.
357 Magnum revolver,
Mhm.
and and the start. Every group has to go to their target. So for usually there were 28 targets,
Mhm.
and so it's target one, target two, up to 28.
Mhm.
And if you had 28 groups,
Mhm.
for example,
Yeah.
at every target was one group with
Okay.
about 4 to 6 persons.
Mhm.
And when
Okay.
they heard the shot, boom, they
Mhm.
knew, okay, now it's start, let's
Mhm.
start. And one person in the group was the writer,
Mhm.
he reported the score and
Mhm.
so on. And for usually there was 20, 60, 16, and 5. I don't know. I think so.
Mhm.
So if you hit the the vitals, the heart or the
Mhm.
lungs, kind of that zone, it was pronounced in
Mhm.
the target. You had 20 pounds with the 20 points with
Thanks.
the
Yeah.
first arrow. If you hit just the body
Mhm.
with the first arrow, it's 16 points.
Mhm.
And if you, I don't know, if you hit
Mhm.
nothing, you had 5 points. No, that's
No,
couldn't
no, I don't think
couldn't
so.
be. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I see that these 3D targets always have a small circle for, I think, the
Yes,
heart or
but
the really
we
the death
hadn't we
center,
hadn't
then a
that
bigger
we
circle,
hadn't
and then
that.
the body.
I don't know. I
Maybe
don't
20,
remember.
16, and then for the body part.
We in our
Yeah.
archery club we reduced it to one arrow.
Of
So
course.
we had if I remember well, a 5-3-1.
Mhm.
So vitals were 5, body was 3, and what was 1? I don't
You
remember.
have two vitals. You have the center of the vital, then the bigger circle, and then the
Maybe,
body.
maybe, maybe,
Yeah. And
maybe.
even nowadays, very, very actual, always these kill tournaments. People don't
Yeah,
like the
that's
name.
like that.
We have one arrow, and this is like in real life. You have one arrow.
Yeah.
It's,
And when we started this, all the guests and so complained. The other tournament we paid the same amount and we can shoot 3 arrows. And I always said, okay, then go to that tournament, and you know to exercise and to train, do it at home, not at the tournament.
yeah, tournament is tournament. Yeah,
First arrow counts.
yeah, exactly. Nice. So and then there's a
Yeah,
given distance, and then there are but different
yeah. The
colored
distance was
stripes.
from very small, or sometimes if you like to make it tricky,
Mm.
you, for example, you put ants, not ants. How are they called? Anten,
Huh?
Enten,
Duck,
ducks.
ducks.
You put ducks in the pond,
Makes
and
sense.
yeah, and
Easy translation.
you
Yeah.
you put ducks
Yeah.
in a little pond or
Um,
so,
yeah.
very close, just
Mm-hmm.
2 meters or so. So
Yeah.
it was from about 2 meters or
Mm-hmm.
zero distance from
Mm-hmm.
very small targets
Mm-hmm.
up to I'd say 60 meters
No.
for big targets,
Mm-hmm.
a big elk,
Mm-hmm.
really big. My farthest shot was in Gleisdorf in Styria, in
Mm-hmm.
Steiermark.
Mm-hmm.
They always had a tournament,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a Howard Hill memorial shot
Mm-hmm.
because there was one story about Howard Hill. He shot an elk at 187 yards or so,
Mm-hmm.
an elk, a big deer.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had this shot. It was on a meadow, and
Mm-hmm.
there was this 3D elk,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to shoot you had to shoot in the air, and then the arrow was
Yeah, of course, ballistic.
in
Yeah.
the back of the, but one time I hit it.
But
And
on the other side, these long distances, isn't it said that in hunting, an ethical hunting distance is
yes,
20,
this
30
was
meters?
more a fun shot. This one was a kind of memorial fun shot, but
Mhm.
all the other shots we always had I'm just able to talk about what we did.
Okay, good,
I
fine.
also can say what the other did, but
Mm.
in our opinion, it was you have to make it as close as a real hunting
Of course.
situation as possible.
Yeah.
So it was not about the distance, but of the trickiness of the
Yeah.
shoot.
That you need to bend forward or under a
Yeah,
tree or
or
something, or uphill,
yes, that's
downhill.
very important. You had a little wooden post
Yeah.
drawn,
Yeah.
smashed into the dirt, into the
Mm-hmm.
ground, and you had to touch this mark,
With one
and
foot.
from this mark with this leg or with the
Mm-hmm.
other leg, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't depend, but you had to touch
Yeah.
this wooden mark
Mm-hmm.
when you are making the shot.
Yeah.
So sometimes there was a big tree in front, and
Mm-hmm.
we put the
That way.
mark on
Yeah.
that side, so it was difficult to shoot for a left-handed or right-handed
Mm-hmm.
and so on.
Yeah.
It's more about, or it was a big bush, and you had to shoot under the bush. Of course, if they're walking 80 persons by, the twigs are all shot off, and the
Mm, yeah,
last
of
group
course.
had a better shot than the
It's
first group.
easier view, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But
And
there are different colored pegs in the ground
yeah.
for adults and kids and or what or
And
classification wise.
women,
Women shot shorter distance.
oh, female warriors, they were different pegs.
They shot shorter distance. It's nice, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
And kids
But
or
I always, because some people think I'm not a feminist,
mm,
but I always said, okay, if women and men are the same,
mm.
why we need two pegs for?
And two different throw weights. As I
Yeah,
remember, the man was 50 pounds and the female 40 pounds or something in Germany back then. What I heard
yeah, but that was, I don't know where that was and how
was
long that
Bavaria, of
was,
course, long ago.
but I think there were some tournaments they had some kind of draw weight limitations,
Mm-hmm.
or not limitations, but limits.
Minimum draw weight. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's true. Back then, women started and shot 40 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and men started and shot 50 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So if today a kind of bodybuilder guy walks around and say, "Oh, it's 28 pounds. I hope it don't hurt my shoulder," and so that's very gay, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because nothing thought about that back then.
I mean, you need a certain poundage. At least with 40 pounds, you can kill a decent animal. With a
And that
20
was the
pound with a
idea.
20-pound bow, you can take out a pigeon or something.
That was the idea with the 3D tournaments, at least in our area.
Yeah.
We like to use the same equipment like we would use for hunting.
Yeah.
So we had heavy arrows and heavy bows, and so
yeah, makes sense.
there were I would say in the longbow class, or how you call it, in the longbow section of the competitors, I think there were more shooting 60 pounds than less than 60 pounds.
Yeah, of course, because these longbows are so inefficient, you need a certain
Also recurve. Also recurve.
I'm joking, yes.
It was a kind of maybe machoism, I don't know.
No, I mean, the origin of the 3D, as you said, came from hunting. And you said last time that in America, hunting season starts 1 month earlier for the bow hunters. So, of course, they want to practice. And of course, then you practice with what you go hunting. That's why it makes sense that these tournaments reflect this idea of
the more similar the target is that you like to hunt.
I mean, why should you then even shoot a 3D animal? You know, then you can go field archery and shoot a target with some rings on it.
On the other hand, since we did a long time we did these 3D tournaments, I came to the conclusion I would prefer. There were also they were called field tournaments, and they had black and white but ring targets.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, they count everything they hit. If they hit the hoof or the antlers or the ears or I don't know of the 3D, they counted with 16
as a hit.
As a hit. And if you have black and white ring targets, you couldn't do so much fraud and so on.
Exactly.
So at the first time I was very impressed and I loved that 3D idea. But when the good archers were known. So if one archer you never knew before had more score, a higher score than one good archer you know
something, yeah.
You know, okay, I like to see this. And what also was an interesting thing is we always had moving targets. We had ducks flying over a pond on a steel wire.
Yeah.
And what I'm very proud of, because that's the best moving target ever invented, was we had a little pond, and on a thick wooden board, we had made from ether like this,
this material,
a crocodile, and it was propelled by a rubber rope.
Okay.
So the group has to draw this crocodile back, and then, like in the old Tembo Howard Hill movie, the crocodile swam through the pond, with waves, and they had to shoot from their back at that really, and the real medium moving target, because it moved like a real crocodile.
I see.
It was fun because because there were many arrows in the pond, of course, and it was really fun.
Nice. I saw once a photo of a 3D tournament, and there was in an old castle, and there was a small window where they had maybe a Madonna figure in it, and they put a small 3D owl or something in it, a small bird. And then you can see, and then when you shoot this on 10 or 15 meters, that you have a lot of broken arrows because you only have stones around, and only the animal by itself would hold an arrow. The rest, they all will play. That's bad.
That was another joke, or how you call it, another
challenge. No.
Yeah, challenge and joke is right, but I don't know the real word. A Streich.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What most tournament event makers did was to have a special target. For example, also in Gleisdorf, they had a wild boar made of thick steel or tin. So there was the target face of the wild boar, the 2D target, and only the vital area was made of foam. all the rest of the wild boar was made of steel. So
Okay.
you shot it, bam, all the arrows broke.
Yeah,
Real
but
fun.
makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
a real hunter needs to shoot the
was fun.
vitals.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, but usually you shoot in 3 arrows on a normal 3D
Yeah.
competition, but
Yeah.
you should take most probably a few more arrows than with you when you go for your round, because you miss an arrow, you break an arrow.
Yeah, it depends. If you're a good archer, you don't need a lot of arrows. And it also depends on the season and so on, because if you go to a kind of winter tournament, you know, every close miss is in the snow, you never will find the arrow again. And so, but I just can talk about me. In most cases, with 6 arrows, you had 12 in your quiver, but that's okay. If you,
I always thought that then when they can make this illuminated knocks, that they could make knocks with a little either a GPS signal, you know, that you have an app and then you find the arrow, you know,
I'm
or
sure
at least like we had in the old times, you know, these key finders. You had it on your key and then you were whistling and then it's and you go through the
yeah, I'm sure they could do this, but on the other hand, you know, when if the situation was about that I missed the arrow, the target 2 times, for example. If I found the arrow close to the target, it was okay. But if I couldn't find the arrow, I say, okay, let it, because it's not a good arrow. Fuck this arrow.
Yeah. Blame the arrow, of course.
Of course.
So, that's true. But you know, nowadays these arrows are not cheap. When you see, you know, I mean, we shoot cheap arrows at the range, but when you set up your own arrows, you know, it can be quite.
We made our own arrows. I always made just wooden cedar arrows, and you know, but if you're in a group, it's easier to say, okay, don't search for this arrow. It's a bad arrow.
Yeah, of
but
course.
That arrow was not okay.
Nice.
I don't know. A prank is the
prank,
name.
Exactly. That's
prank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now 3D parkours are everywhere in Austria, right? There's too many.
In my opinion, too many.
Yeah.
And I'm also surprised that never some accident happened, because this nice, not a nice, but a common practice. They drink and then they go to the 3D parkours and so on.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And what I also want to say for our viewers is, if you never shot the bow and arrow, I don't know if we have complete beginners here.
I think so too, yes.
But don't go to a 3D parkour. Learn archery at a nice place, at the lawn, at an archery school, because the point is, why I'm saying that is you are walking through a 3D parcours. You're shooting the first target, you hit the target, you don't know why. You're shooting the next target, you miss the target, you don't know why. Exactly. Because you shoot downward, you shoot uphill, you shoot from the light into the darkness, you shoot from the darkness into the light. There is grass behind, and there's brushes, and there's this tree, and there's that. So you don't give your brain a chance to check this situation and reproduce it. What is true is, when you're finished learning to shoot, how to shooting on your range, on your lawn and your archery school, I would say after the 10th lesson, you can go out to 3D parkour, because then you have to prove your skill. Am I able to translate what I learned at the best circumstances to an uphill target or so. And then you will really learn to refine your skills, to sharpen your skills.
But first you need to get it in your muscle memory.
Don't at first, when you're a beginner, don't go to a 3D course.
Take a low poundage bow, but we said this before, and shoot at the target distance and normal target. And it's fine. Makes sense. Yeah.
And if you're really familiar with the bow, and you can hit that pipe blade at 10 yards or 20 yards, okay. If you even can hit it one time out of 3 arrows, out 20 meters or 20 yards, okay, then go to 3D parkour, but not earlier.
Hone your skills then, yes, exactly. But you need to have the skills first that you can perfect them. As long as you don't have any skills, it doesn't make sense to go there.
And you only start to learn and to sharpen your skills when you have a kind of level you reached at the shooting range, exactly. at the playing field, at the archery school.
I mean, it's the same in when you see sports car drivers, they start with a go-kart and end up at Formula One. They don't start in a Formula One car because it's a little overwhelming. They don't know what they do right or wrong, and simply it takes practice, it takes time.
And you don't waste a lot of arrows, because if you first go to a 3D range parkour.
You put your microphone closer again. I mean, I like that you a bit close, because we don't hear you. Because you need to smoke now again, of course. Now put it clear. Thank you. Of course. And then it's not nice, because then you don't learn anything, and most probably you will give up very soon.
Yeah, and you're devastated because you lose so many arrows and destroy so many arrows.
You trust in your own skills, and then you give up.
Yeah.
Then it's sad.
If our viewers have any more questions about 3D or what is important, we also can talk about what's important with 3D to go more special. But I think that's a kind of overview what it means.
One thing, what do you think? I mean, I have my opinion. You see some 3D parkours where you have really only the animal standing somewhere, and others, they play safe and they put then always some backdrop behind, either
I don't like it.
or
I don't like it.
Takes out the whole fun, I guess.
Because yes, and it takes out, as you said, the challenge.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
if you have a hunting situation, if I miss the game, I miss the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. And if I have a back below, behind, that's.
And when you are so bad that you can't hit anything, you should not go there. Then you need to go back to the range and shoot targets until you can do it. So don't use 3D archery for learning archery.
And you know what? When I started in 1990, and we founded that archery club and so on, all the guys said, we met at some kind of meetings, I come to our 3D and so on. And I said, no, I can't, because I can't shoot as good enough for it. I wouldn't do it. And then, now come, we are even not better and so on. But we had a kind of respect for this kind of shooting, because it was back then a kind of king's class, because on the lawn with targets, everybody can shoot, but downhill, steep, at a wild boar.
It's completely different. Once you change the plane, once you shoot uphill or downhill, it changes everything. And when you're not practiced and when you don't know what you're doing, it's easy.
And one of the difficult aspects of 3D shooting is on a target, on a paper target, on an Olympic target or somewhere, you can see the rings and so on. And if you're close enough with some 3D targets, you can see the vital area, which is kind of pronounced. But if the shot is about 30 yards or 30 meters, and there's a vital, you don't see that. And the most difficult animals are the big black bears or wild boar, and so there's no spot
Yeah.
And the trap is when this happens, you're just shooting at that black big spot and not at the point on the spot.
Exactly. This is what you need to
So
learn.
yeah, you have to pick a spot. And if you can't see the vitals, the pronunciation, you have to think about, okay, I have to shoot above the leg, behind
That's just behind the leg.
the front leg.
Mm-hmm.
And then okay, if and we also of course had targets that were the vitals not, they say, hey, in reality that would be a kill shot, but this is wrong and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like it was.
Yeah.
So that's difficult to pick a spot, because on a usual target you can, it's easier to pick a spot.
Yeah, what I read once is that you simply imagine where the lungs are, you imagine this is like a ball inside the body of this animal, and no matter from which direction you see this animal, you always have this ball. It's a three-dimensional sphere, and no matter from where, you always shoot in the center of this ball and you hit the vitals, you hit the lungs.
Yeah. And one good other hint is to say, don't think about where the arrow should impact the 3D, but where it would come out.
Come out on the other side, yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
So when you have the white tail and you're shooting like that, the arrow would come out here and it would not be deadly. So you have to aim lower. So it would, but higher than you think. If you shot like this, you know, it is different with all.
Yeah, makes sense.
Uphill, downhill, and so on.
Yeah,
so you always have to think about the, like Byron Ferguson says, become the arrow, the path of the arrow. Not where is the impact point, but what's the path through the body of the animal.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And that's why in some cases 3D is not good, because if that is the body of the animal and here are the vitals and you shot like this, you're in the vital.
Yeah. But you would not hit the vitals.
Never would kill the deer because the arrow will come out in the back somewhere. So that's, yeah.
It's time to develop a new version of 3D animals where they have really the vitals inside, and then you see if you hit them or not. So not on the outside anymore, but when you retrieve the arrow, you see.
I think today it would be quite easy to make kind of artificial intelligence 3Ds. Wow.
Need to talk to Bill Gates, but he's so busy with this shitty vaccination stuff.
Yes, I have to talk to him. I was like, oh, Bill Gates, let's.
But only simply that you put a core in the 3D animal, and then you see if you hit it or not, but not on the fake vitals, because as you said, when the vitals are there and you shoot in an angle, you hit exactly the center, but you would miss the vitals. So
the problem with this, in my opinion, would be it would be easy to do.
Yeah.
For one or two shots, but if 100 archers are shooting at the same place or so,
make it replaceable, and it can be filled with some red liquid when you pull out the arrow.
Nice female assistants, they replace at every target the vitals. Oh, shoot again! I'm not sure if you hit.
Or simply put in the center a hollow part where some red gelatin is, and then when you hit it and you pull out the arrow, you see, oh look. I have
but to have to replace this with every shot of every
but that's why, I mean, we need sometimes every 3D club does the same, has the same 3D animals now, not so many. Mackenzie, I think Reinhardt is now a big one, and even others now, even in eastern part of Europe, they start building now nice 3D animals. But you know, next level.
I understand you. But on the other, that problem I told you with this vital area thing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's the same for every competitor. So
of course,
if you hit it like that, it also counts.
Yeah, still. Yeah. We could do better.
You know, and with 3D shooting, there's also another thing. What I always thought, there's a lot of fraud, a lot of faking, and we had, I don't know, I don't remember. I think we had 38 targets, and we really made it nice. We had a special safari area.
Mm-hmm.
So the group was we drove the group with an old Serial 3 Land Rover
Nice.
to the Jungle Bar.
Uh-huh.
There were two beautiful women
Of
with
course.
camo clothing, you know,
Mhm.
tops and so on. And they made you some cocktails, like
Mhm.
I don't know, I don't remember, but like in an old safari movie, you know.
Virgin Bloody
And
Mary, of course. No alcohol.
yes, like that,
Mhm.
and whiskey sour, and I don't know.
Mhm.
And then there were an iron ring, and we had 2 or 3 kind of mass-sized beers.
Mhm.
And if you were on the bar, you
Mhm.
can say, "Oh, let's make a competition with spear
Mhm.
throwing. Who is
Mhm.
paying the next round of
Mhm.
daiquiris or so?"
Mhm.
And this was a kind of like a little island in a creek.
Mhm.
And on this little island, there were just safari animals, a
Okay.
lion and I don't know, a crocodile, and
Mhm.
I don't remember, and a kind of kudu
Mhm.
and so on. And yes, that was fun.
Mhm.
And we always were the first because we had these cardboard targets left, and then we had a full pack course of Mackenzie 3Ds.
Mhm.
So we had these cardboard targets left.
Mhm.
So we said we are making a special competition. So you're getting to the tournament and you pay, I don't know, 15 euros for the 3D round. And if you pay 5 euros more, it
Mhm.
was in shillings back then,
Mhm.
you are also competing in the broadhead round.
Mhm.
So you had to shoot these cardboard targets, which are
Mhm.
8 or so,
Mhm.
with broadhead arrows, and it
Mm.
was in the
Nice.
invitation.
Yeah.
So they knew they had to bring with them some
Mhm.
broadhead arrows to shoot the targets, and you got the special another prize, so you could win the recurve class
Mhm. And the broadhead.
3D, and also the third place and the broadhead
Mhm.
class.
Mhm. Nice.
It was really nice, yes.
Very inventive. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
creative.
the
Mm.
prize was an antler,
Mhm.
you
Nice.
know, out sanded out and with a brass plate,
Mhm.
first place, broadhead round,
Mhm.
and so
Nice.
on. It was nice, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we kind of like to put that into an adventure, into
Mhm.
an, yes, we liked
Nice.
it with the Land Rover, with the safari bar
Yeah,
and so
makes
on, like
sense. Yeah.
Disneyland for archers.
It's always the show aspect or the
Yeah,
entertainment aspect which you
yeah,
need to have. Yes, which makes the
yeah.
difference to all the others. Yeah.
Yeah. In the evening, we had blowgun shooting at the
Mhm.
bar
Mhm.
because the same thing, they could shoot the blowgun for a round of
Mhm.
shots and,
Mhm.
schnapps or whiskey and
Mhm.
so, or knife throwing or something
Mhm.
like that. So
Mhm.
we always had a kind of evening program,
Mhm.
and with nice food. We had roasted pork and a Spanferkel
Mhm. Mhm.
or trout
Mhm.
or so, or and
Nice.
stuff like that, and
Mhm.
cowboy food, of course, beans and
Yeah.
bacon and beans and so.
Do you miss the times?
Yes, I miss. I no, I don't miss it. I'm happy that I'm not any longer in these times,
Mm.
but I miss the development,
Yeah.
the the involvement of these events.
Mhm.
And next year we are making this crocodile
Mhm.
target and that
Mhm.
Land Rover, and that
Mhm. Mhm.
that that's what I miss,
Mhm.
because nowadays they say, okay, let's make some vegan food, and the other club is doing the same. Let's do
Mhm.
it like the other club does it,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so they don't have energy to say, oh, let's make a
Invent
new
something.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
sad.
yeah. But I don't miss it.
Mhm.
I had it. I had
When
it.
was the last time you were on a 3D parkour?
Oh, I think it was about 2014 or so.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go with some of my friends, but no, everyone has a, I don't know, it don't
I
work.
wait when I come to Austria, then we go to one of
Yes, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
places.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have good friends. They would love if I would join them,
Mm.
but I don't have any, I don't know. And, you know, there's a second thing. I like to be honest. If you like to be a famous archer,
Mhm.
it's not the best idea to go to 3D tournaments and not win.
Of course.
So,
Mm.
you know, you have to think
Problem.
about that.
Of course.
So if I would always train 3D shooting
Mm.
and I would win every 3D tournament in a row,
Mhm.
it would be okay. But I don't have the power to do it or
Yeah.
the force or so.
And,
So
and still,
I
you
avoid it.
will never always win. We will never always be number one, and you will never always be the last one. But it's always depends on it's
Yeah.
some things happen, and then you make second or third place, and
And
next time you make first again. So
and
that's why.
and I know there are people around who are more ambitious than me.
Yeah, of course.
And because I know this, I don't do it. But
Mm.
now I remember one thing I wanted to tell you
Yep.
because of this fraud and fake with the
Mhm.
3D tournaments.
Mm.
Uh, and then we had the safari round and that and 38 targets. And then I came about the idea. I say, okay, let's put it was a big on a on a soccer place.
Mhm.
There was the building, the canteen, and so for after
Yep.
shooting and so.
After show.
Okay, let's put two Olympic targets on the soccer place, and
Mhm.
they have to shoot this Olympic target at 30 yards, and that's the first target that counts for the 3D course.
Mhm.
So there were competitors about 120,
Mhm.
and divided in 4 or 5 or 6 person
Mhm.
groups,
Mm.
and they walked, and so 130 person shot at this Olympic target on the
Mhm.
soccer field,
Mhm.
30 yards. And then when they all were through, I said to my friends and to my, club
Mhm.
colleagues, so now let's walk over and let's look at the target.
Mhm.
And from 130 or 100 or 115, I don't know, there were just 5 holes in the yellow 120 centimeter target.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I said, and now look. And
Mhm.
in the woods where nobody can see them,
Mhm.
they hit a, a big rabbit
Mhm.
and a big duck.
Mhm.
And at 60 yards, they hit
Mhm.
the game.
Yeah, I
Okay,
understand.
really?
Mm. Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
oh, you're just a conspiracy. So no,
Mhm.
no, no.
Yeah.
They are
Fact.
faking.
You
They're
were a
faking.
fact checker. When you went there, you were quasi the first fact
Yeah,
checker.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, way. Yeah.
But they didn't love that target.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense to see their skills first. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I made it that way. If you hit the yellow,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, there are 2, 3 yellow
Yeah.
zones in that Olympic targets. It was 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
And if you shot the vital spot at the hunter round with one arrow, it was 5 points.
Okay.
So this target counted more
Maybe. Yeah.
than any vital
Yeah.
area
Yeah.
in the 3D. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah. Okay. 3D targets, 3D archery.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but what I also like to say, uh, in the United States, I never joined the 3D, but they
Mm-hmm.
had big, big ones with
Mm-hmm.
thousands of competitors,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a real gatherings,
Mm-hmm.
like that old Wild West rendezvous where
Mm-hmm.
all the woodsmen and mountain
Mm-hmm.
men meet and so on. There are really nice
Mm-hmm.
things around,
Mm.
events.
Yeah. But when I come to Austria, we simply don't tell anyone. We simply go somewhere to a 3D parkour and we shoot around without telling anyone.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
would love
it
to
doesn't
see.
matter how good or how bad we shoot because I shoot like crap. I know it. I mean, I see always videos of my students or whatever they send me videos of how good they shoot, and I think, wow, I'm not so good.
I mean, you know it like I know it. If you're a constant average
Yeah.
archer, not the good one, not the bad one, but an average, you get into it.
Yes.
So if you go to a 3D, you always will be around the first 20 ranks.
Yeah.
Maybe you are fourth or fifth, then you had a good day and you're a good archer, or you're at fifth, you are 15th, but you're not you're not 60th.
Yeah.
So that's the point. If I would be more ambitious, so I think I just won one or two, but I always was fourth or sometimes second or sometimes fifth or sixth, but in that range. And one more tip, one more hint. If you ever go to a 3D, try to find out who is the best shot on this tournament and try to get into his group.
Yeah, of course.
Shoot just with the best.
Of course, always.
Because they don't tell you shit. And you can watch them, what they are doing.
Yeah.
And that was my I found that out very early. I always shot with the best.
Yeah.
One guy from Tyrol, one from Salzburg, one from Styria, one from Niederösterreich, and these were one of these always won the tournament, but I was in his group, in their group.
Yeah, of course.
So, and if you can do that, if you can manage it, shoot with the best.
There you learn to shoot. In the others, you learn how to complain or to find excuses why it didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you have, if you don't shoot with the best, you hear a lot of bullshit.
Exactly.
But if in your group, the first, the second, the third, if the first 5 places in your group, you don't hear shit all along the day.
True.
Yeah.
Wise words, yes, from a wise man.
Oh, thank you.
Where is your kitty today?
I don't know. I don't know.
In your bookshelf again, biting the corners of your books, the edges.
I don't know. Maybe she's out in the garden because
the door is open.
The door is open. Yes. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So this is if our viewers or your fans have more questions about 3D, they should ask us. Write in the comments.
Yep. Did you have some questions in the last comments which we could answer? I don't know now. I saw one question I have. I didn't watch it yet from Charlie Greenberg. His new video, he solved his aiming. I only saw
I saw it. I saw it,
but I didn't see the video yet, and I saw him only anchoring very high on an eye.
Yes, that's the point. That's the point
the eye
of the
anchor,
video,
so to say. Okay.
So I don't making any prisoners. How we say in German? Ich mache keine Gefangenen. If Charlie thinks that's something he invented, then she's not up to date. If this is his solution to better shooting, it's okay. But it's not a new thing.
No, of course not. Eye anchor is already written in.
And it doesn't depend if you anchor here or there. If that's the difference, then.
Yeah, you see many, they like to aim, tend to bring the arrow higher, closer to the eye. Or even
because they're looking at the arrow, and that's wrong.
They aim,
in my opinion.
The whole string walking thing is like, okay, they know now, and then they go. I have one of my former students. They went now to the Archery Association and they learned now shooting recurve and FITA style and string walking. And when she comes shooting here, she has a nice Turkish bow, and then she does string walking. And now there's the kitty. And it looks so weird, she sits there and then she goes, okay, the target is this far away, so I need to go this far down, and then she shoots, arrow on eye level, bang.
But look, the point is that
you look at the arrow, not at the target.
maybe we are now getting into your area, into martial arts, into feeling yourself, and most important, to trust yourself.
Exactly.
And if I'm aiming the arrow,
Yeah.
I don't trust myself, but I trust the
equipment.
device.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not trusting myself. Yeah. And I can't aim when I throw in a knife, when I do darts, when I'm shooting a combat pistol, I can't aim.
Yeah.
And think about a combat, think about a cowboy duel with 6 shooters, with Colts. If you think about aiming, you're dead.
Yeah, of course. In almost
and that's now the step we're making to martial arts. Because you can do it. You can aim above the arrow. You can put the arrow in your eye, and you can do everything. Look how bad she is.
Doesn't like to be with you. Huh?
How angry. Oh, my dear. Oh, Millie. Oh, she's so crazy.
You can't even control this pussy.
Millie. This little pussy is so angry with me. Look at her. Oh, I love her so. Oh, Millie.
Make a Chinese cat out of her. Come on.
Oh, hello. I'm Chinese. I'm bad.
I'm from Wuhan, China.
I'm exactly from Wuhan, China.
And I brought you the best from Wuhan.
And I love to eat bats. Oh, my darling. And sometimes I also make a gremlin. I say, I'm also a gremlin and I'm bad.
But don't feed them after midnight.
Yes, she ate after midnight because that's why she's so angry.
Yeah.
Millie. Oh.
Bite.
Okay.
But this is exactly what you said, or what I always say. I call it now instinctive shooting again, but where you don't aim. There is where the bow and arrow becomes part of me. And when you shoot technical,
where you become the arrow, where you become the
then
and you're
you
one
need to
tool.
become part of the equipment. So and then this becomes part of me.
And it's the same if you have a 6-shooter, Colt, or a Glock.
Yeah.
These are 2 different ways of thinking.
Yeah.
Am I trusting the sights of my Glock, or am I trusting myself, my ability?
And what did we like most when John Wayne was walking there and had his Winchester only on the height of his hips? And he didn't stand like this and shot his enemies.
Yeah. And you can do it.
That was cool.
And you can do it.
Yes, it's cool. And I think especially when you move now back to Charlie. I mean, I didn't watch the video yet, but I only saw the title and that he is now aiming. Seems like he's
now that's his solution. It's okay.
But when you see all horse archers, they don't mostly even anchor here. They anchor more low because it's better when you move that you have it not that high in your face. I don't know yet, but I need to watch the video.
Fuck all horse archers. Fuck that all. You have to shoot and hit. And if you do it like that or like that, it's not.
When you hit it, it's fine. Okay.
And but
don't look at the arrow.
I try. Yeah, don't look at the arrow. Don't look at the bow. Because why I'm saying this? Because you, of course, and in my opinion, that is what Howard Hill meant with split vision. With secondary aim, or how they ever call it. You can't avoid to see your arrow and your bow.
But you don't focus at it.
Yeah. And you don't think about it.
This is what I when I do a basic course, I always do this focus and defocus test. I let them stand and point at the 10-meter target. I said, so now focus on the target. You see the arrow? Yes, but the arrow is blurry. So now focus on the tip of the arrow. You see the arrow? Yes. What is the target? The target is blurry. So this is where you set your focus, and we always focus on the target because this is what we want to hit. I have the arrow already in my hand. I know where the arrow is. I don't need to look at the arrow. I need to look at the target.
Yeah. It's
So
and I also say to my clients at the archery school, would you ever look at the dart when you are dart
exactly.
thing or knife throwing? You can't
Mm.
look at the knife when you're throwing the knife. It's the same thing, and and yeah, and I'm a kind of how you call it, a kind of I don't know because I talked with Charlie and I tried to tell him not to look at the bow and like
Mm.
that's archery school I did with him,
Mm-hmm.
and now he found out how it's working.
But especially when you're running, I mean, it's already when you stand a thing, but if the target is moving or you are moving, I think it's even harder to aim. I think it's almost
Of
impossible to aim.
course, he will not get one step ahead with
Yeah,
this.
you get stuck. Yeah,
Yeah, he will get to a certain point,
yeah.
but not over it.
And once the distance changes, once he is used to the distance of his targets, it's working, of course, because when you aim always in the same way, it's fine. But I think once you change then the distance or something, or the height or whatever, and then it's not working anymore. I had so many
But
of the archery
on the other
associations
hand,
coming.
on the other hand,
Yeah,
if you're anchoring here or there, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
It's
as
if you
long as
do
you
it
anchor
always,
always the same.
it's okay. But if you're depending on,
Looking
I
in the
think in
mirror.
English they call it gun barreling.
Yeah.
You're looking like over a gun barrel and aim like.
Yeah, but why should you anchor up there when you
I
don't
don't
look at
know.
the arrow?
And you know what? I tell you one more thing. What is dangerous with this
Mm.
method? The higher you are on your head,
Mm-hmm.
you could also anchor there.
Yeah.
Then the more it depends how you're holding
Yeah.
how your head is
Yeah.
tilted. So if you're down there,
It's not
it's
a
not
big
a lot.
effect. Yeah,
If
exactly.
you're up here
Yeah,
at the,
you
it's
see,
not a big effect.
of
But
course.
if you're up here, it's
Mhm.
a
A
big
lot. That makes a
effect.
big difference, of course.
It's about 10 centimeters
Yeah.
effect.
And you want to
And 10
minimize this.
centimeters multiplied to the distance to the target.
It's hit or miss.
And then you're doing this when you are running.
Mm.
So you don't know while you're running how you're holding your head. And then you draw, okay,
Mm.
okay,
Mhm.
okay. Good luck.
When
Good
it
luck.
works for him, it's fine. I think it's
Yeah.
might not be the right way. Maybe it
And
was now a shortcut he found out for himself and it's
and,
working
and what we
in the
don't
long
know
run.
is if he made it on purpose to have
Mhm.
a new thing to
Yeah.
tell his viewers, or if he really thinks that.
Mhm. Up to him. Yeah, of course.
Not no problem because I
Mm.
have big understanding for
Yeah.
making a new trick and show it
Mhm.
to the
Mm.
no problem.
I mean, when you see in Turkish archery, they have a few different anchor points and they have the eye anchor, but it's said that it's not recommended. It was only when they shoot from horse, a very close target, that they get the arrow a little higher because they can't go more low with the bow. But
Yeah,
usually they anchor
yeah.
here, the beard anchor or the chest
I
anchor.
mean, in my opinion, all these archery books, and I'm the biggest fan of archery books.
Yeah, but you're such a conspiracy theorist. For you, they are all
No,
propaganda.
no, yes, partly it's propaganda, and what is you think they have also with the French army with Napoleon. I'm sure they had kind of shooting manuals. They said if you shoot downhill, make this. If you shoot uphill, make
Mhm.
this, and so on. But if they really did it, is another
Yeah, yeah, of
aspect
course.
to it. And the beard anchor and the eyebrow
Mm.
anchor. When you're in a battle,
Mm.
you have to be able to shoot at your enemy,
Exactly.
and the anchor doesn't depends on any. You
Mm.
can shoot from your hip
Mm.
like John Wayne. if
Yeah.
you're if you're familiar with your Winchester rifle, you can shoot from your hip and
Or
you will
like,
hit up
or
to
like,
20
yeah.
meters, absolutely the
Yeah,
chest cavity, and you will kill your enemy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we don't have to forget, we shouldn't forget all these military manuals, all this stuff was made for the dumbest of the dumb, so they understood, okay, you should downhill, use your eyebrow anchor, you should uphill, use your chin anchor. So they had more kind of percentage they would hit, and they would better perform, because even the dumbest, if he draws here, will shoot high, and the dumbest will shoot downhill when he draws here. So I think, of course, it's a mix, all of these aspects we talk about.
It's but only just when you see Lars Andersen, he wrote to me once after I did a video, I think, about anchor points. It's funny, I don't use any anchor point because I don't even teach anchor points. Said, okay, for me, because I'm more, low level.
Is he able to hit constantly one target?
He said so. I need first an anchor point, and I teach.
Have you ever seen a video where he's hitting 12 arrows in a target?
I don't know.
At 20 yards?
I see him shoot an arrow over a blade and splitting the arrow and shoot a water drop, and I don't know.
Yeah. And last time we had James Jean on our channel, a really nice guy.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
1,000 thanks, and I appreciate what he told us and the talk. And what he said, you remember? He said 20 times he tries a shot.
It shoots 20 arrows, and when it doesn't work, you need to change something.
And
doesn't mean that it
and he says it.
Yeah.
And I never heard Lars Andersen say, okay, I tried this 15 times and then I hit this.
Yeah.
No. And that's a difference, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I like to see Lars Andersen standing on your shooting range, shooting 12 arrows into the Olympic target without jumping, without farting, without flick-flacks, just shooting. And they should stick, not fall out of the target because the bow is too weak. Maybe he can show us this stunt. So you had a nice bridge over to martial arts.
Me? No, you made this bridge. I didn't do it. You built bridges. Yeah, but it's like it is, because last time somebody asked again why we don't have Lars Andersen in the show. Then I told him, listen, we invited him twice.
I read this comment,
and he simply doesn't want to be in this show specifically.
I think because we are kind of how Hillary Clinton called them, the deplorables of archery. We don't have 15 millions of views, so we are kind of the
we are two hillbillies, two rednecks, and you don't want
the underdogs of archery talks.
Nobody knows them, of course. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, maybe we can.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm always happy for every view. If a video has 1,000 views, it's fine. If it has 10,000, it's fine. I appreciate it. And if like last week, I received an email of a guy. He's 73 years old, and he started watching Olympic archery. And then he was like, oh, that's interesting. And then he started checking on YouTube what's going on. And then he came on to my channel. And then he saw, oh, wait, bows don't have to look so ugly like these Olympic bows. They can be out of wood and curvy. And, and I want to buy now my first bow, but not too expensive. Otherwise, I need to sell my rifles. And, a 73-year-old guy feels now this interest of starting archery. And this is where I see myself, that you really motivate people to go into this. I mean, we are promoters of a sport. We are promoters of an art, martial art, if you want. But we are promoters of archery. And when I reach people and they do like that, then I'm happy. This makes me happy.
Because you tell this story, I'm kind of proud too. On weekend, on Saturday, I don't know, on Friday, my friend called me, but on Saturday, I think it happened. He said, oh, here's a friend here, and he's a kind of, concert hornist from a big orchestra, nice guy. And he back then was an archery champion in his state. I don't know, in Niederösterreich, I don't know. And his son, he's 8 years old. He likes to shoot the bow and arrow, and if I could come over,
Oh, nice.
and so on. And then I showed my friend's daughter. She's about 10, and the boy was about 8. And I explained it to them. Said, look, it's very simple. You just have to look at the target. We were about 5 meters away from the target. I had this smaller snake bows,
Yeah.
very nice.
Perfect.
Just look at the target, draw back to here, and let it fly immediately. Don't look at the arrow, don't look at the and so on. And the fathers looked, and then I had, of course, I had other bows also with me, and I said, okay, would you like to try it to that Olympic champion? Later he told me a picture, with full of the stabilizers and everything.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's another kind of sport. It's okay. It's
Still shooting
a kind of Formula One, of course. And then I gave him a very old, from the 1960, a Glissfieber longbow. Next time I show it to the camera. Very simple, the arrow lays on your hand like with an English longbow, very slim. Try to shoot. And oh, that's nice. And then I gave him my Howard Hill. I said, if you don't overdraw it, because I have drafted it. And so, but then, wow. I said, I could screw off all my stuff from my recurve bow. And I showed him the video of James Cheney's. Oh, you can do it with a recurve bow too. He said, oh, that's nice. And so on. And now he ordered that kind of little snake bow for his son, and some warrior gold tip arrows. And then he drove, I think, to Vienna, to Traxler Bogensport. I said, they have Byron Ferguson's set bow, sea bows, and also some Howard Hill bows left there. Maybe, maybe I get one. Because, and he said, if you're fighting for 1 centimeter with the Olympic equipment, it's more fun to hit from 6 meters, just a yellow with a long bow or a simple bow. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And that's more natural, because I don't know the word in English. I always say to my clients, it's Gebrauchsbogenschießen. It's, how would you translate it?
Used would be, it's a simple archery. It's not sophisticated.
Not simple. It's what you can use, what you can need.
It's a usable one. It's usable. I don't know what you mean. I don't know the English word now. Yeah. But I had the same experience a while.
It's not a game. It's real archery.
Yeah. I had the same, because I heard that an archery club had these pressed straw targets, and I wanted to see them and talk to them where they get them from. And I went there, and then a few people were shooting there, and with their, with the recurves and aiming. Yeah. And if I want to shoot too, I said, I only wanted to see the targets. Yeah, but show me how you shoot. And he wanted to, show me. I said, okay, which bow do you have? Give me some arrows. And like, bam, 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 bam. I put 6 in the center at 10 meters. And he was like, wait, what? What did you do now? You didn't even look. You didn't even aim. I said, yeah, I look at the target. It's enough. Oh, can you show me? I said, now you keep your Olympic, otherwise you confuse yourself. When you mix your styles up, it doesn't make sense.
And that's also a big difference. We are able to shoot with every bow.
Yeah.
Because if I give you a compound bow, even with a sight, you wouldn't use the sight, but you would, after 2 shots, you will be able to hit some kind of target.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference.
Yeah. This is what my almost a girlfriend of me told me once when I had a Lada, a Lada Niva station wagon.
Yeah, rushing.
Really no brake assistant, no steering assistant, nothing.
A Putin Porsche.
But then she said, and she was from Russia, I think, or something. She said, but when you can drive this car, you can drive everything.
what she wanted to say is, if you can satisfy me, you can satisfy every woman.
No, this is, I don't know. I never
Yeah,
satisfied her
she was
because then we didn't meet anymore. It was
kind of ladder
Lala.
with hard gear,
And it was, yeah, but
hard clutch
it
pedal.
was a piece, and it was a station where I could put all my stuff in. It was cool. It
Yeah.
was working for a long time, and it was only a few €100, so it was cheap.
No, I think that's the real. Let's go back to archery.
Okay. Oh my God.
I think that's
Look
the
at him.
real.
Look at him. He is normally talking about everything.
That's the real. Because we are getting to a point.
Okay.
Where kind of playing archery is separating from real archery.
Yeah.
So archery, as far as I saw, as I say, okay, there is never a combat with archery, with bow and arrow. That's crazy, that all combat stuff and so on.
Wait.
Okay.
When they take the guns
away. Okay, that's my opinion. Then they will make guns. No problem. With 3D printers and so on. Okay, no problem. But that's the separation. That's the junction. You say, this is playing archery as a sport. And that's what I call Gebrauchsarchery. That's useful archery.
Yeah.
Where you can say, oh, it's like, if I'm able to throw a knife, I can use it. I never like to use it, but if I can use it, I can do it. If I need, I can do it.
Yeah.
And that's the same with an Olympic pistol shooting. Great shooting, of course, no problem with it. And combat shooting.
Yeah.
And John Wayne's shooting with the Winchester from the hip.
Yeah.
And only when you're able to shoot the Winchester from the hip, you are able to surprise your enemy.
Exactly.
If you raise your Winchester to your eye and aim at the enemy, he will not be surprised if you hit him. But if you have your Winchester on your saddle and you just raise it and pull the trigger and you hit him, he will be surprised.
Yeah.
And there we are back at the magicians, at the tricks. A warrior has to have a lot of tricks, and that's where martial arts and stage magicians and all that stuff meets. Because if you decept the enemy, if you make him think, for 7 years I was a boxer. I boxed 2 days a week. I was into box training. If you can make the opponent thinking a wrong thing, and then you will win, of course. And that's fighting is much more than shooting or than aiming. It's deception. It's tricks. It's the right move in the right to the right time.
Offering an opening in your body that he will attack here, but already how to whatever. So yeah, of course.
Yeah. An old trick of the boxers is to look at the feet of the opponent, because on the feet you see what he likes to do.
Yeah.
And so on. And it's like archery. If you just see the target, okay, that's great. But you have to see the big picture. What is all around? Is there wind? Is there that? Or it's downhill? It's a big picture. And there where that's what my archery is.
Yeah, of course.
And of course that's what hunting archery is. What bow hunting is, because you have to think about a lot of things. And you don't have to think about them conscious, but conscious, but
they happen simply.
You realize them. Yeah.
In your subconsciousness.
Yeah.
Every calculation happens.
It's the same with boxing. You can't, of course, you can't just look on the feet of the opponent. You can't do it, but you have to see them.
Yeah, of course. You need to see everything, and you need to sense it, of course. And then you know how to respond. This is what they say in Chinese martial arts. Once you get this feeling of chi, this is push hands. It's one of these techniques where you push, and you get pushed, and you learn how to sense first your own energy, and later you learn, or this is what they write, I'm not this level. Then you sense the energy of the others, and then you sense his idea
very
of
logic.
what going to do.
A very logical thing. Just when you know what you are capable to do, you can imagine what the other could be capable to do.
And you know, and you sense it before he even realizes it by himself what he is doing. So that's why they are more or less undefeatable.
There we are back at the stage magicians, at the mentalists. They have an auditory of 300 or 100 people. And they say, would you like to come up to the stage and assist me with this trick? Because he knows, he knows which guy to choose for his trick. And that's the same with in battle.
Cold reading and hot reading, what the mentalists do. Yes, I watched the series The Mentalist. That's why I know that.
Some aspects of it I also put in the Bowman novel, because maybe you know that scene at the showdown of the first book, when the Bowman knees on that concrete in the haven, in the yacht haven, in the harbor, and that guy faces him with a pistol. And of course, if you just move a step closer, he won't shoot, but maybe he gets back or forth. But you force him to make an action.
Exactly.
And maybe it's just 5 centimeters you move forward, and he will react to that. And it's simple like that.
It's very sophisticated, very high level, but at the end it's very simple again.
And one of my favorite sayings is there are just 2 options, 2 possibilities. You are dominating a situation, or any other force is dominating the situation.
This is exactly
very
what
simple.
Happens. This is exactly what happens now with all the people. Either you trust media, or you dominate. You're as dominant that you have your own opinion, or you get influenced by the opinion of others. The same, domination or being dominated. And when you see, did you ever watch Wag the Dog with De Niro?
I know it.
Such a good movie. Such a good movie.
That's the whole truth.
And this is 20, 30 years old?
Yes, 20, 10 years, I don't know. Yes. And as I told you before, try to find out that movie War Machine with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt acts as an American US general who is sent to Afghanistan and has an order to Afghanistan, blah, blah, making elections and so on, and working with the people there and so on. And that's the whole truth. This movie is also 10 years old. You see exactly this general had no chance. I'm kind of angered about Brad Pitt because he wasn't brave enough to play this general fully serious. He put a little craziness on this general. Maybe he was a little crazy, but I suspect that Brad Pitt did this because he didn't like to make it so serious as it should be. They couldn't win. In that movie, there were scenes, Marine soldiers, Marines said, yes, we learned to kill persons, and now we should talk to schoolgirls. That's not our job. And that's the core of the problem.
Yeah.
If you ever find the movie, watch it.
I will watch it, yeah.
War Machine. Yeah, with Brad Pitt. Very good.
Okay, yeah. I will.
Also, the Germans play a role. Yes, the Germans will join our I don't know, our force, but they don't go out of camp. They will support us, but they don't will go out of camp.
That's why it's called Bundeswehr. It means these are people who defend only their own country. We were never an attacking, and we even the soldiers are not trained for that. We only trained for defending Germany. We couldn't even do this properly. If the Russians would invade, we would cause them half an hour delay until they are in France.
That's the next thing. We shouldn't be afraid of any conspiracy or so, because you see, the Germans were unable to fly out that helpers in Afghanistan. That I don't know how the auxiliary troops or how they call it. So then they flew them out. 4,000. 4,000.
Wow.
Some say 6,000, but I say 4,000. And from 183 are real folks. They worked with the German army, with the Bundeswehr.
183 out of 4,000.
Yes, and the other 3,000 something, they don't know who they are. And now they are quite sure there is a three-digit number of them who are who were sent out from Germany, abgeschoben, deported from Germany because they are violent criminals, pedophiles.
And we flew them now back to Germany.
Yes, and the truth is not,
Germany, we love you,
like your beautiful Heiko Maas said, yes, no, they opened the gate from the airplane and said, who
wants to come?
Is in. Yeah. There was no control about it.
Wow, this is hilarious.
That's true. That's not the conspiracy.
Wow, yeah.
Because, I'm always watching the German Bundespressekonferenz, where the journalists ask the speakers of the... And there they talked about that. They don't, from 3,000 and some, they don't know who they are.
Fine. Crazy. I mean, my girlfriend is flying. My girlfriend is flying now to Greece because she needs to renew her passport, and they only can do it in Greece because only the embassy of Thailand in Greece can do it. And today we did all the paperwork she needs to do to fly from an EU country to another EU country because of COVID, and such a pile of paper for flying to Greece and another bigger pile of paper that you can come back to Malta. This is, I mean, and then they get 3,000 something people on the plane and don't even know who they are. Because
and more than 100 are judged criminals.
Sentenced.
So, sentenced. And and that's the reason why we don't have to be afraid about anything, because they can do nothing. If they say you have to be vaccinated tomorrow, yes, they can say it, but they never can check it. They never. It's
incapable.
Incapable of anything.
Yeah. but getting
horrible.
bribe money. Now they are capable of doing this to the farmer lobbies, and here, give me some money for my. I need to
I
buy
don't
another
believe
villa.
that. I don't believe that.
I think so. When you see that the shot, that the normal vaccine shot has a certain price, and in Malta, they paid, and it's official, you can check this, 3 times more for the same shot that you get everywhere else in Europe. Let's say everywhere else is 20 euros, and here they paid 50 euros. Then you need to wonder, it's not a shipping cost to Malta,
It's not
you know?
no, it's simpler than you believe.
What did that tell me?
It's very simple.
Yes.
You
Because
know,
they only took
the
1 million.
Malta officials, the Maltesian government, or how you call them, they went to that AstraZeneca or BioNTech and said, "Oh, we need the vaccination. We need the vaccination." So, yeah, you're on the 15th rank, so you know all the EU states, they have ordered before. So but maybe if you pay twice the price, we can do something for you. And
Yes,
the
yes, so we pay
Maltesian
triple, but we
politicians
get
said,
it directly.
"Oh, just twice the price. Okay, yes, it's just the people's money. It's just tax money.
Of course.
No problem.
Yeah, of course.
There's no conspiracy. It's very simple."
Mhm, mhm.
Because the politicians are so stupid. They all have fake doctorates. They all have fake. They just come out from school, living in their bubble, eating vegan food, and have using anal plugs in school even, and like to transform to another. I don't know. So oh God, I'm devastated. We are lost. We should be happy that we don't have a real deadly zombie apocalypse. Because if there would be a thing like that, we would all be dead.
Of course. We would not even be here by now.
Well, the health offices in Germany on weekends we don't. There's a pandemic on weekend. Oh,
to stop on weekends. Yeah, exactly.
The Robert Koch Institute has no numbers on Monday because the health offices, they don't work on weekends.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had nothing better to do than pack every park bench in plastic that you can't sit on it.
Yeah, you know, in Austria too, they put wooden pegs, so just a bank for 3 persons. In the middle, they put some kind of shit. So nobody.
They have social. This is so hilarious, you know. Yeah. And it helps so much, as you will see in autumn when the numbers go up, skyrocketing this time. And yeah, you know, it's such a foul game. It smells.
I mean, it's the same with everything. It's like that. You can climb a big moral horse. Oh, you're not wearing a mask. Oh, you like to kill the ice bear babies. Oh, I don't know. It's always the same. Oh, you're driving a diesel. Oh, you don't care for the nature, and so on. And it's everything. Oh, I don't know. You're laughing about the joke about Chinese. Oh, you're racist. It's everything is the same. And I go to church every Sunday and you don't. Oh, how can that be? So it's always a moral thing. And the most dangerous people are the people who say, I just care for others. Yeah. Because they always lie. Because in fact, every animal, every species, every being just cares for himself. And if one goes into television and says, oh, I just wrote this book because I like to give something to the world. Yeah. Fuck you.
Why does this book cost 30 euros, you know?
Yeah, because you like to. Yeah. And this is so horrible. And there's no journalists today because the journalists are gay like these all artists, they don't say, "Oh, you just like to give this great book to the world. Why you're charging the people 50 euros for a book?"
Exactly.
If that's your intention,
Yeah. Printing
and
is 5 euros.
and behind that, this artist gets taxpayers' money from the government to write the book he just loves to give to the
Yes,
public.
I have to give. Yeah.
Oh God, I hate them. I hate them.
Like in Germany with this archery magazine. Yeah, she does it only for
Oh
archery.
yeah, from archers for archers.
Yes,
Oh
yes,
yeah. Oh, write an article for free,
yes,
and you can give it to the archers.
yes.
A
Because I do
book.
everything.
Yeah, I mean, write a book.
Yeah,
You will get nothing.
yeah.
Yes, 50 cents per sold copy, but we do it for the archers.
See, now I hear Klaus Schwab again. You will have nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
All these, how you called them last time, the Voltaire, the Bill Gates, the Klaus Soros,
The
George Soros,
criminals all.
the
Yes,
altruists, or how he calls
fascist elite. Yeah, I saw an altruist. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they only care about us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same is true with a very, how you call them, bescheiden, humble,
Humble. Yeah.
very humble people
Mm-hmm.
who is especially humble.
Mm.
And oh, I'm going to church and I'm so humble and I'm donating money for the poor, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's a kind of making yourself bigger. That's not you like to help the other people.
Mm.
That's a way, a moral way to put you above others. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're not so humble than I. Oh, I'm just eating potatoes all week long, and you're not. Oh, bad guy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's so cheap, but
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, this is the thing. When you give, then give without talking. Without, there was once when Michael Schumacher was still racing, and there was somewhere a crisis, and then oh look, Michael Schumacher donated 5 million to these families, but on the same day he bought a $30 million villa somewhere on Lake Como or whatever, and then you see the relation again. So does he need a
But
20th house?
I hear what you say and I agree, but
Good.
it's better he gives 3 millions to poor people, but or he does it not. You understand?
Yeah. But at least don't talk about it. Don't make yourself, oh, look, I donated now because I'm such a good guy. Can we change the
but
topic?
there's the next chain reaction and domino effect. So this Michael Schumacher, just for example, I don't know, he is a manager. The manager gets paid for success, for public relations. So even if Michael, maybe Schumacher said, I don't like to tell other people that I gave
the manager said, no, we will make
no,
sure
no, we have to, my good friend, because I get 10% when you're blah, 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 blah. So it's a kind of devilish, evil game.
I know.
But it's also,
Shut up.
yeah.
Let's talk about knives. A new one in my arsenal, a very small one, but a nice one. And when I see a knife with a ring, I always need to have it because I love the ring. And now we have it deep carry in my pocket.
With knives, you love rings, but not with women.
Yeah. Look, then you deploy it like this, and it's a very small blade, but it's sharp I'm
like a scalpel.
80% box openings, but look at this one, sharp and pointy like hell. And when you do something, you can simply leave it, do something. You don't have to put it away. And you get it back, and it's fine. Or I could wear it the other way around and have it like karambit. So cool.
Looks nice, but
tricky.
but the proportions from the blade,
Of course, it's
a little,
but it was a
it's
small one. I wanted the smallest one. They
and-
have another one where the
and-
blade is like this, but it's too big for me. For my
yes,
everyday carry, this is fine for me, and it's
yes, and it's a nice gimmick, and it's
Of course.
more than not a knife,
But
no
you,
knife.
but you know, this one I use on a daily basis. If I would have
Yeah.
a Bowie knife and have it laying somewhere and don't use it, I don't do my Bowie knife any favor. See?
Like what I prepared for today.
Oh, as if I would know it.
No, yeah. Of course, when I was a little boy, I loved the stories of Jim Bowie and
Yeah.
the Alamo and so on.
Yeah.
And this was, in fact, that was the first knife I bought with my own money.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was available at Kettner. I'm sure you remember this hunting outfitter, and it had a wooden handle.
Mm-hmm.
But a very nice friend, a very good friend of mine, he has died some years back ago. My best friend, his name was Joseph. He made me this stag handle, and I also there was a kind of this strap here around, and I didn't like it because I like it like that, you know. And he and I changed the this strap here.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a Bowie knife, real Bowie blade.
Nice.
And, a nice, how is it called, hand guard. And yes, it's a Karl Schlieper, Solingen, Germany. And it also is ice tempered. So I don't know, but you can really make it sharp, and it's a big Bowie knife. I like it. I never use it. It's just sometimes when I went bow hunting for wild boar, then I carried it because you would be able to stab a boar with it, of course, because it's long enough and so on. But not for field work or field dressing. It's not the best knife, but for stabbing and for chopping twigs, and so it's a great knife. I really love it. It's
of course,
beautiful.
I mean, I love these big blades too, but they are not usable for me.
No, and you can't carry it. Yeah. So it's in my drawer, but sometimes I draw it out and say, "Oh, that's a nice knife."
You cut your onions with it, and then you put it back.
You know what I think? And I never came to the idea, but I think I told you before, I had a girlfriend. Her name was Valerie. She was from France, and she was a sexologist. She knew everything about every pervert stuff and everything. And she said, maybe you're kind of a fetishist. I said, oh no, fetishist, no, I'm not. But when I'm thinking about my knives, about my bows, about my books, about my little trophies and memories, and my little, there's something I remember, and also the hunting trophies and so on. And that's a picture when I was there and so on. That's all fetishist stuff. In fact, and you too, because I know, because if you love knives and and
it's because I use them every day. I need to unbox stuff. I need to cut boxes. I need to wrap.
I know, but
in boxes. I need to cut the tape.
But you wouldn't talk about it if you wouldn't be a fetishist. And
no, you
I don't like to judge you. I know.
You said bring the knife of the week.
But she was right.
Yeah. Now for me,
if you're keeping, you know what? One time I was shooting with Jews in Vienna. It was a Jewish holiday. It was Lag Baumer. It's a kind, I think it was a kind of guerrilla war against the Romans. The Jews fought back then with bow and arrow, and so it's tradition. The young people, the youth are shooting bow and arrow, and they hired me for doing blah blah blah, and then I kept, and all of these Jewish boys and girls had a blue band.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Think they are still used to. No, and I didn't say that.
Yeah, uh, and
It
so
was
I
yellow.
thought,
It was yellow.
I saw it. I thought that I have to collect one of these bands and take it with me. So
Mm-hmm.
I always remember I shot with the Jews on Lag
Mm-hmm.
Baumer on their holiday,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fetishism. That's fetishism.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends, I think, how you define fetishism. For me, fetishism is when I have something and then it causes a special arousement in you, know, that you get sexually aroused.
No, no,
Like
no,
you
no,
look
no,
at a
no, no.
woman's shoe or something, or I don't know.
You reduce it to sexuality.
Okay. So
But
fetish is
if you think, oh wow, that's the arrow in 2006 I shot a rabbit with,
mm,
and you keep that arrow, that bloody arrow.
but then you're a collector.
No, I think
No?
it's kind more of a fetishism.
Okay. No, then I'm a fetishist. Okay.
On the other hand, for me, it's also kind of a help to remember.
Mm,
Because when I see that, oh, it was back then in 2006 when I shot the
mm,
rabbit, and
yeah.
Charlie and Theo
Mhm.
and Eric was with me,
Mhm.
and we had a nice day and so on. But I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, I don't have these things, these memorabilities. I have my bows and then I give them away again. And a few knives, but not so many
Uh,
anymore.
yes, but I'm not.
Mm.
Maybe that's an interesting point. Uh, I would give away a lot of things, and
Mm.
because I moved to another place, I gave a lot things away. Uh, but most of this stuff is not. If you give it away, you wouldn't make. I wouldn't
Has no
with this
monetary value.
with that blue ribbon. I wouldn't make anyone happy when I give it away
Mm.
because
Mm.
it's just a memory for me.
Yeah, yeah, no.
So fetishism is, as I say, it's kind more pervert. It's just of value for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And back then, I have to tell you, I had a girlfriend, and
Valerie.
no, another one.
Okay. At the same time.
No, not this, of
Or
course not.
just asking.
And you know, on that Howard Hillquiver, on the back is a little pouch, a little bag.
You always had your condoms in it.
No, I
No.
never used them.
Viagra. No.
No, I had a little tin box, and there had some pubic hair from my girlfriend in it.
Okay. Pubic hair.
Always thought that's good medicine when you're out hunting and so on. Or when I was in Idaho hunting with Nate Steen, I walked out and I found some teeth
Mm-hmm.
from an elk.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I took them with me.
Mm-hmm.
And in the evening, I showed it to Nate. Said, oh, look what I found. Oh, that's good medicine. You know, like an Indian thinking about
Yeah.
medicine.
Okay.
So I'm opposed to any kind of
Mm-hmm.
spirituality and religion. So, but in some kind, I'm a fetishist, and so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course, an elk teeth is a good medicine if you're hunting elk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, if you believe in it, of course, it helps.
I don't believe in it, but it 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 won't hurt you if you take it
Doesn't
with you.
do any harm, of course.
It's
If
not
you
too
shoot a
big.
nice elk, then you will say, yeah, because I had the tooth. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
whatever helps.
Of course, if I would have bagged an elk, I would have said,
Yeah.
the elk tooth help.
Good that I took the tooth. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
always depends. Yeah.
And that's where we come to the problems of esoterics and spirituality,
Mm,
because if you don't find the elk tree,
mm,
no problem.
mm-hmm,
If you find the elk tree and you bag an elk after it, you say,
mm-hmm.
of course, because I found that elk
Yeah, of course.
tooth, and
But
so on.
the same is true with these what they still call conspiracy theories. What I tell since years, once you see it, what is going to happen, you can't unsee it anymore. you know, then you can't go back and say, oh, look, what they tell you in the evening news is the truth.
The red pill effect.
Once you see it, you cannot unsee it anymore.
Yeah.
And it simply happens when you're aware and you're capable of connecting dots, and then you see it.
When I'm going to the coffee house and drinking a coffee, and someone says, there are so many light years away. Is that and that in the universe, or that, or there's in Congo, there's something that or that. I say, where have you seen it? On television.
Yeah.
I say, okay, maybe it's true. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if I don't see it with my own eyes, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Because, and we talked about with James Jean and with Charlie Greenberg too, nothing is true in television. And that's what you say is red pilled. Back then, 10 years, till 2015, let's say this, till 2015, I thought everything a scientist or a documentary, in Phoenix and, where every Arte and BBC is true.
Yeah.
But then I found out, just a moment, they are choosing the picture they like. Of course they do. You would do it too, no problem. And if you're a documentary filmer, a documentary guy, like a stage magician, you have to produce a wonder, a miracle, and unheard of. Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you just film the gorillas, okay. But if you say, oh yeah, and the gorillas, they're able to play chess with each other. Oh, then it's a good, and that's true with archaeologists, that's true with every scientist, with every person. We are also the same, of course.
But an arrow doesn't lie.
You can't fake where in reality, you can't fake where an arrow hits. In reality,
an arrow, you always
can't.
find your truth.
Yeah. And if it's a bullet, a knife, an arrow, a fist punch, it's don't depends. That's truth.
Yeah. Sometimes painful truth. For the other. Yeah.
Or for yourself. That's, if you don't get, because when you're a boxer, if you don't experience to get punched, you can't fight.
Yeah. This is what they tell you when you learn knife fighting. And they always tell you, first thing, be or accept the fact that you get cut. Otherwise it happens that the other one is cutting you a little and you freak out. So accept that you get cut and then go into the fight, because you get hurt. So, but, if you freak out with the first scratch, then the fight is over instantly.
So, for example, that's why in most cases, when it gets to a fight between karate guys and boxers, the boxers win. Because the karate guys, they don't punch, they don't hit through. And the boxers do it in their sparring.
Yeah.
And the karatecas, they just do their features and
the katas doesn't
playing and so.
They don't do the job.
Nothing wrong with it.
No.
I really respect that stuff. But the boxers are more the stupid kind of, oh, come on, boom, boom, boom. And they do it. And so they win.
Yeah.
Because they know how it is if you get the punch.
They know how to deal with a punch in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So now we got the bridge, the connection from archery to martial arts.
To your fetishism.
Yeah. I think the main message should be
Go out and shoot some arrows. No,
Trust, yeah, and trust yourself.
trust yourself.
Don't trust your arrow. Don't
Yeah.
trust your bow,
Trust yourself.
because these are just devices.
Things can change, but you don't change. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you always have to deal with yourself, but you can get another bow, you can get another arrow.
yeah, yeah,
See them as tools, like a screwdriver.
yeah.
Does a job, but trust yourself.
Take care of them. You
Yeah.
should have the best, because I have to say, the first step
Mm.
to trust yourself is to trust your equipment, of
Yes.
course.
Of course.
Because if you know, I have 12 similar great arrows in my quiver, I have the best bow I can imagine for me.
Mhm.
That's the first step.
And now it's only me, exactly. Yeah.
But that's just
Base
one
level.
level
Yeah.
under your, and
Mhm.
I can do it.
Mhm.
It's like if you have a nice pistol and they give you different loaded cartridges, one goes higher, one left, one right, and so on. Of course, you can't hit something,
Mm.
anything. That's okay. You have to take care. And that's why, for example, I always wondered, Howard Hill liked to have his bow and his arrows high gloss,
Mhm.
really high gloss, like a
Mhm.
Cadillac.
Mhm.
I thought, oh, why? That's then, without knowing why he liked it, I did it because I liked Howard Hill. I say, okay,
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
Howard Hill had high gloss arrows and high
Mhm.
gloss bow, I like it. I have to have it.
Mhm.
And then I found it out.
Mhm.
Because if you have a high gloss lacquered, finished arrow,
Yeah.
you see every damage.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
You see the slightest
Correct.
scratch on the arrow,
Yeah.
on the same on the bow.
Yeah.
If you touch something, you would see it.
Mhm.
And the other thing is with the bow, because they have camouflage and so on. If you like to dull it down, you easy can talk beeswax or something and make it dull,
Mhm.
but you can't make a dull bow shiny. So
Yeah.
you know.
I understand.
And if you're on camera,
Shiny is always good.
of course, it's better. Yeah, 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 yeah. So that's why I love Howard Hill, because nothing what he did was without a cause. He always had something in mind and knew what he did, and that's why I like his style.
I understand. Yeah, I hope I get soon on Howard Hill bow from someone, and then it starts.
Have you ordered one?
Huh?
Have you?
No, not from Howard Hill in America,
But
but
you
I
had
got
other
one
guys.
from Australia, and I should get one from the UK from this guy. He said he makes one, and
So you get two.
and Cody said he might
Oh
be
yeah.
able to go for me.
So Cody don't has any more problems with the Bitzenberger.
I don't know why. Should you have problems?
You wrote me that she was kind of
So now
afraid.
that because of the video that he shows something, I don't know. I think it's an American law.
That's not, but that's
I
not
don't think
true.
so.
Everybody does it, no?
When you talk about something, it doesn't mean, it's. But yeah,
Well, he's a nice guy. I like him.
oh, yeah, I like him. He writes me every
We
now and
we
then.
will invite him again.
Of course, for sure.
Next guy I also like to invite again is Roberto Gaido, the Sioux.
They are our Indian guy. Yeah, exactly.
Roberto,
Our Native American.
Robert. I don't know. Yeah,
Something. Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be nice.
Yeah, we didn't have a proper talk with him. Yeah, it's true. He wants to show us his pose and stuff.
And
Yeah.
Tink Nathan, we also have to have again.
Of course. He posts a lot of nice stuff since I'm Facebook friend with him. He posts every day,
crazy
really
guy.
hardcore
From
American.
his young girlfriends.
Yeah. Nah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
So far, we only had nice guys at the show because we are nice
I'd
guys.
say so. I'd say so.
Ooh.
We had all the really good guys on the show, I would say.
Yeah. I mean,
What
Byron.
I really would like to have Jerry Hill on the show.
Yes. And Murat Özferi maybe a second time. Because the first time we had him, the connection wasn't very good.
Yeah. And John D. Lee.
Yeah.
This Howard Hill related guy. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome.
So let's work on. I mean,
one day I asked already Margen Klomp from Fairbow, Netherlands. He builds interesting bows.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a little busy right now, but he said, yes, he will come to the show. So yeah, the future looks bright. And I think you can ask Chess now again, because I think even in New Zealand, they have complete lockdown. Or is it only Australia?
You always tell me about the beautiful, wonderful girls.
She did a nice video now with a knife. She was spinning it around and she throws it and she cuts sideways. And then the next video, she throws an apple back there and picks up the apple. She's cool. She's so cool. She's pretty cool. And
I never watched her videos.
Huh?
I never watched her videos.
It was on Instagram or something, a 5-second video or something.
You couldn't avoid it.
No. And especially when you see her in her, you can't. You simply watch it.
I see. Okay, so
we leave it for today, huh?
Yeah.
We talked long enough, I guess.
So
wake up, guys.
Our friends.
Show is over. Turn off your computer. It's fine.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yes, of course, please. And yes, I really need to say, I checked last time my statistics of my YouTube channel. Only 20% of my viewers are subscribed. So have 80% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed yet. So we need to change that, please. Thank you.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's really terrible. Imagine.
Yeah, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, write questions about 3D archery and stuff. And please write me your definition of fetish. Am I more right or is Peter more right? Is it in general a fetish when you appreciate things, or is it because it has some sexual arousement, something in it? I would like to know your opinion.
I'm not because I got into it. It's not about sexual. Of course, what you're saying is true.
But it's a part of it.
It's a part of fetishism. But if you put a trophy on your wall, it's also kind of fetishism.
Yeah, but don't do that. So
because think about that. When you read the adventure books, when you're a youth, a boy, you know that tribes had a fetish. It was not sexual. It was something they loved to look at and to you know what I mean? It's not just sexual.
But I don't have this, you know. I don't have my stuff here. I only have this bow here because I don't know where to put it. And these arrows I had from last video when I had tested my arrows.
I mean, if you like to get the bow, the compound bow, which was your first bow, and even if it isn't your first bow, because it's another bow but the same one, you're kind of a fetishist, of course, because you like to have this bow on the wall. What was your first virgin bow?
First bow.
You understand?
When I was a virgin.
So it's not sexual. It's kind of fetishism.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can deal with it. Okay, guys, then thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, please. Really make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell button.
Guys, and look what I have.
Say hello to Kitty, Millie Kitty.
Oh, yeah.
Millie Vanilli.
Goodbye.
And that's all for today. Let's see next week whom we have or what we have. Thank you very much for watching. Hasta la vista.